Hi everybody, welcome to the LNROOM. I'm Tony Alden, and today in this episode 17 we're going to write a call lightning plugin in JavaScript, and the goal of that plugin is to register a JSON-RPC method called myMethod that return an object like this one. So when we start the plugin with the option foo offset to bar, we want that option to be in our response. We also want to have the parameters that we passed in the command line when we call the method. We want them to be in the response. In that case, foo1 set to bar 1 and foo2 set to bar 2. And we also want to have the node ID in the response, so the node ID of the node running the plugin. We're going to do that with the library clightningjs that you can find at github lightningd clightningjs. And the goal of today is really to see the more quickly we can to write those kind of plugin, but not to understand the plugin system and how it works. To do that, if you are interested, you can check the LNROOM 14, so understand CLN plugin mechanism with a bash example, or you can also check the first live that we did in a ball on L2, which was also to understand the plugin mechanism, but in that live we did it with Python. So let's get started, write a little bit of code and see how we can do that. So first, in our terminal, so we have Lightning is a Lightning repository because we are going to use it, myplugin.js, the skeleton of the plugin, and the node that I'm using. What do we do? So, yes, so we source plugin lightning contrib startup. So with that script, we can start with that command two lightning node running on regtest and that machine. So here we go. And this is with that thing that we are going to check that the plugin is working correctly. So L1-CLI is just an alias for Lightning CLI, but with the Lightning dir, which is temporary /L1 regtest for the node 1. And as we just use this one, no needs to show more. And now we need something else. Yes, as we are going to use that library, which is clightningjs. So we install the library, and now we go to my plugin. So here is our minimum, the bare minimum to have a plugin working. With that, we can start that plugin. It does nothing, but it works. So we require the class plugin. We instantiate that class, and at that moment we are starting the IO loop with the lightningd. So let's just see that this really start. We need to be sure that our script is executable. If it was a binary, we don't have to do that, but here we do it, and we can start it like that. So L1 CLI plugin, the command plugin, the subcommand start, and we want to start. We give it the full path, my plugin.js, and we can see that it started, but we can't do anything else. So let's go back to our note. I just want, even if we are not going to explain exactly how it works, it's great to see, to have an image of the plugin system. So with when we start, when the plugin is started, the communication will go like that. So lightning.d will communicate, we send a request to the plugin via a pipe and targeting the standard end stream of the plugin, and the plugin, when it answers to those JSON requests 2.0, it writes to its standard out stream, which is piped to lightning.d. So this is that kind of communication between them. So when a client asks lightning.d, hey, I want to execute, to run a method, lightning.d will check if it is responsible for that method, or if some plugins is responsible. In either case, my method, my plugin.js will be responsible for my method, so this will be sent to my plugin. But all of that is done by the library clightningjs, so we don't have to care about those things. We just take some inputs and we respond with some other outputs. When the plugin is started, there are 3 steps. We receive a get manifest from lightning.d. We answer to that get manifest telling I want to register some option, or I want to register a JSON-RPC method. Then we receive another request, which is the init request, where we have all the information of the node we are running in. For instance, the RPC file that is needed to talk to the node if we want extra information about the node to do our work. And then we have the IO loop that I've just described at the beginning. So this is a quick overview of how it works, but the cool thing is that when we use a library, we almost don't have to care about those things. Let's go back to my plugin.js and start to do something. So we are going to define a function called my method func, which take some params, and those params are really the params that are in the JSON request. That we are going to receive when the client will call my method, which we are going to define just below. We return that JSON object, foobar, and we now have to define, so it's add method. We have to define that method. The method that we want is my method. The function to use, so the callback function to use to produce the payload of the JSON-RPC response is my method function, which is going to return the foobar object that we've defined. We have the usage and the description. So we just like this, and this should work. So let's try it. So what start. We restart the plugin, and now, as we define my method, we should have something working. So this is what we have. This is all it takes to do that simple example that returns foobar. It takes that much lines. So a callback function and adding the method to using plugin.add method. But we don't forget what we want to do. So so far we know how to return something and to define my method. Now maybe we can focus on how do we add startup option, specifically foo opt. So let's go back to my plugin here, and we copy this one, and now it's add option. So the name of the option, foo opt, its default value, so bar down case, and also a description. So now, how can we use that function, that option? Well, we can use it in the plugin. So when at the init request, we receive all the options that we've defined, and clightningjs take care to put them in the plugin object that we've instantiated it right here. So at that point we can use the plugin, and we use that object option, and we want the option foo opt. We are not going to have bar, but we are going to have the value for foo opt option that we get at the after the init request. So foo opt, and no, sorry, we want to write this foo opt. So let's see what we get. Go back to the terminal, we restart the plugin, we call my method, and this is what we get. So this is the whole object that LightningD gives us with the init request. So for foo option, but what do we want is the value, not the... So let's get the value, not the default, because maybe we want to change it. So now we have that. Let's go to our node and take that first command line, and we're going to use it to restart the plugin. But now we see it's a little bit different. So we use -k, so we can pass the argument by key here. So we have the command plugin, the subcommand, which is the start. We start which plugin, my plugin.js, so we pass the full pass. And now we want to set foo opt to be equal to bar upcase. So we hope we did it correctly. And now if we call l1-cli my method, we should get something like that. So we have the option that the startup option that we've just set, and this is reflected in the object that we return. So it seems that we are taking the right path. Let's see what we need to do. Okay, so the last thing that we have to do before returning all that object is to get the node ID. So how do we get that node ID? So to do that, we need to do a call to our node. So we need to do a RPC call to the node. This is possible with the method getInfo. We can get the node ID. So we are going to use that method, and we have that key RPC property RPC, which let us do some call. And the call we want to do is getInfo and we pass it no argument empty. So we are going to have that, but plugin rpc.call is defined as a thing, so we have to put a wait here and change that to an async function. So now with that said, the get info will be exactly what we get if we do a lightning-cli get info. So this is not exactly what we want, because what we want is just the node ID. So we can do that by just restricting to the ID. Okay, so let's see if we are doing the thing correctly. So now let's start that. We can start it like that. And let's call it. So yeah, we have our node. Sure. Let's find out. So get info, and we restrict to the node ID, and we can check that they are the same. So this is great. So we've seen how we can add an option, how to get the node ID, and we also we didn't touch the parameters. So we are going to end the video by returning that object and also returning the parameters. So let's go back to my plugin. Now what we want to do is something like that. So we have the node ID. All the things that work, we just keep them. The node ID work. Another thing that work is foo opt, and now we need to return the parameters. But as we said, what we get in the params here is exactly the parameters that we have. So if we use it with a -k, we are going to have it as an object, and if we pass it as a ordered parameter, we are going to have an array. But here we don't care. We just pass the params, and it should work. So let's go back to the terminal. We are here now. So last thing, so we have to restart. We are going to restart with foo opt set to bar uppercase. It seems to work. And now we want to L1-CLI-K, and we want, what do we want more? So we want to call my method, and we want foo1 equal to bar 1 and foo2 equal to bar 2. Okay, cool. So it seems to work. So we've written a plugin that register my method and return the node ID, the startup option, and the parameters. We did it with clightningjs, so maybe we can check again what we wrote. So here we get the plugin. So we require clightningjs plugin. We instantiate at that line. Then we define the function that constructs the payload of the response when we have my method request. This is here, and we have it also here, because with plugin.add method, this is when we add the method at that line. How to add an option? Well, we can add an option with plugin.add option, as we did here, which is a foo opt option. And we see if we want to get that option, we can do this at that line using the object options, and we want the value. And now if we want to do some other call to lightning to get more information about our node, maybe to take other decision, we can do that by doing a call with the RPC property and the call. So this is all I have for you and for me today. I hope you enjoy that moment with me. See you in the next video.